And now, I shall resurrect Slifer the Sky Dragon!
Oh man, he just brought back an Egyptian god!
Slifer's attack points are determined by the number of cards in my hand. And since I'm holding 4, he now has 4,000 points!
Hey guys, this is Slifer Maniac. Guys, you might see it right before your eyes. Let's take the mouse pad away. We are next up is our deck profile of Weevil Underwood for the Waking the Dragons arc. Now, before we dive into that very situation, of course, Weevil Underwood, like his best companion Rex Raptor, was longing for old prestige, the ultimate power, and yeah, last but not least, to be the best duelist, or at least the elite duelist that he was before. And in order to do that, they befriended themselves to the group of Dartz, became members, and Dartz then, on the other term, used them in order to defeat the 3 chosen duelists, namely Yugi, Atem, Seto Kaiba, and Joey Wheeler, of course, waving the legendary dragons against them, against the forces of the Orichalcos. Yeah, and in a vain attempt, of course, to defeat them, so he provoked Weevil into going against Atem, like he did in the Duelist Kingdom. And of course he lost again, but I have to admit, in that very duel, there was a very epic moment where Weevil tricked Atem into having Yugi's soul on a card in his hand, and then as he destroyed the very card, I have to say Weevil Underwood was a very sneaky, dark character, and a very, you might say, seems to be harmless way, but he's very dangerous, as he also threw, of course, the Exodia pieces of Yugi Muto right before the Duelist Kingdom arc into the ocean. So he's far more cunning than Rex Raptor is. And yeah, like I said, he destroyed the very card that he claimed to be Yugi, to have been trapped Yugi's soul, and then Atem made revenge on him, playing out his breaker, and the effective breaker, of course, he always, I think, combining with Berserk Soul, if I'm not mistaken, and he could then always attack, and he, I think, draws a spell or trap card. And even if after Weevil already lost the duel, Atem still kept going and going, drawing monsters and attacking Weevil. And then Tia had to hold him off. It was a very dark moment for Atem. That's why I also thought for myself, Atem has, in opposite to Yugi, very dark character attributes, or he's rather likely being put to darkness, as Yugi is, of course. Atem also was sucked into the Orichalcos because he's a little bit reckless, which you also saw in the Duelist Kingdom arc. He wanted to sacrifice Kaiba in order to get to the castle of Pegasus, and here, of course, also playing the card Seal of Orichalcos, and then losing Yugi to Raphael, then to Dartz, better to say, but ultimately to the Great Leviathan. Yeah, and then he lost again. Now I'm going to tell you about the deck. Now the deck is we have to regard the very fact that it is very difficult to build a whole Weevil Underwood deck out of scratch, because in the Orichalcus arc we do not get to see that much monsters which we have in the TCG. There's a monster which is called a Caterpillar or something. I think Poison Caterpillar. We have Poison Butterfly. We have another one, 3 that I did exchange with others, of course. And then still, it's not enough, so I had to include also Battle City and Duelist Kingdom monsters, as well as spell cards. Also, I make some additions as always. So I would say, let's just jump right into it. There we have our Weevil Underwood deck. Because it didn't fit in those boxes, because I think the sleeves made the cards a little bit too wide, and then it didn't fit. So we get just let the monster, of course, in a Weevil Underwood deck always is consisting purely out of insects. So we starting off with our basic insect, of course, a card which you played out in the Duelist Kingdom. Earth attribute 2 stars, insect normal type, 500 attack and 700 defense. Also another one, I think he had at least saw on his hands in the Duelist Kingdom arc. Killer Bee, a very card which Pegasus also presumably had in his deck, was seen as he lost the duel against Yugen Atem. So Killer Bee, wind attribute 4 stars, insect normal type, 1200 attack and 1000 defense. We have some others here. Giant Flea, which I think played out in the Battle City arc, maybe, but also not sure anymore. Perhaps it was also Duelist Kingdom. Earth attribute 4 stars, insect type, 1500 attack, 1200 defense. So we're rising a little bit up with the attack stats at least. I made some addition in order to make this deck more playable, which is Prickle Fairy, a card which neither he had in one of those arcs, nor is it an insect type, but it does have an insect type, so here we go. Earth attribute 4 stars, plant effect, 300 attack and 2000 defense, so also in good defensive position lineup, in order to build up your field, and the effect works like that. Your opponent cannot attack insect monsters. If this card battled the monster at the end of the damage step, change that monster to defense position. Also a good handy effect right there. Helping, of course, also to maybe bring your opponent into the defense. And then maybe with weaker defenses, you can destroy that monster of your opponent. Well, of course, still, I gave him a Cocoon of Evolution. Earth attribute 3 stars, also an insect type, 0 attack but 2000 defense. Of course, it does work with Petite Moth. Petite Moth that you control, you can equip this card with it, as long as Petite Moth is equipped to the card due to this effect. And the attacks and defense become the same one as Cocoon of Evolution. I might have forgotten about Petite Moth in this deck, because I had it, but then I think I missed it. But yeah, you just pretend it being in here. It is an essential part of the deck, of course. Just have to change the camera angle a little bit. Yeah, there we go. Okay, then Gokibor. He was holding that card in his hand, and claiming that being Yugi's soul, Yugi's soul being trapped in that card, and then he destroyed it. It was Gokibor. Also a card which he had, I think, in the Battle City arc. Earth attribute 4 stars, insect normal type, 1200 attack, 1400 defense. Then some Battle City cards which I added. Skull Mark Ladybug, Earth attribute 4 stars, insect type, 500 attack and 1500 defense. When this card is sent to graveyard, increase your life points by 1000 points. Also, we've always played with that strategy, increasing his life points. Especially in Battle City, where his life points went out to the roof, and Joey Wheeler had difficulties to then bring them back down. Flying Kamakuri number 1, I think also been played out in the Battle City arc. And Wind attribute 4 stars, insect type 1400 attack, 900 defense. If this card is destroyed as a result of battle and brought to the graveyard, you can choose one wind monster with an attack of 1500 attack or fewer from the deck, search it and special summon on face-up attack position onto the field. For monsters with level 5 or higher, tribute is relevant or needed, and then you have to shuffle the deck. Of course, 1500 attack or fewer. We have, I think the Petite Moth was a wind type, maybe. But we have some in here, so of course, we do have. The very next card that we have is a wind type, and one does possess 1500 attack. It is, of course, the Flying Kamakuri number 2. So also wind attribute 4 stars, insect type, 1500 attack and 800 defense. So also working perfectly with that effect, of course. I think even we will combine this very effect with this card. Then I added a card which I took as an exchange for a card that doesn't exist in the TCG yet. It was called something Caterpillar. I took the Swamp Centipede for it. Dog attributes 3 stars, insect type, 1500 attack and 500 defense. And its effect works like that. This card has been unfolded, and you can choose one monster on the field. You can change its face-up attack position onto the face-down defense position. This is a once per turn effect, and then you can once per turn also switch this card into face-down defense position. Also a very practical effect, helping that deck a lot, because you can also then maybe attack and then if pull it back to the face-down defense position and main phase 2, and then this is protected and you do not lose battle damage if it's been attacked. Larvae Moth, Earth attribute 4 2 stars, an insect type with 500 attack and 400 defense. This effect works like that. This monster cannot be normal summoned or set. This can only be special summoned by offering Petite Moth as a tribute on the second of your turns after Petite Moth has been equipped with Cocoon of Evolution. Of course, a combination with Petite Moth. I have Petite Moth somewhere here, but I think I didn't find it, or I did find it and I'd forget it. But you have to just pretend and imagine that it's in the deck, because it's essential for one of the key strategies, of course. Then the Kizaite, a card which is the only, I think, non-insect card in this deck, but it was played out by Weevil Underwood in the Battle City arc, so I assumed it could be in here, supposedly. A Dark attribute 2 stars, Fiend type monster with 300 attack and 800 defense, but I might be wrong. I think this was an insect type in the anime, at least. So if its effect works like that, if a monster of your opponent attacks this monster and face down defense position, this card is going to be equipped to that very attacking monster. There will be no damage calculation. Treat this card as an equipped card in each of your standby phases of your opponent. You increase your life points by half of the attack of the monster which is equipped to this card. Very strong if you have this card equipped to the strong monster card from your opponent. And like I already mentioned it, Weevil Underwood did have this increasing power tactics in the Battle City arc. I don't know about the Orichalcus arc anymore. I think not that in that excessive manner like before in the one of the other arcs. Parasite, still in here, used in Battle City, was put into the deck of Joey Wheeler by the boy, and the Battle City arc. Earth attribute 2 stars, insect flip type, you might say, insect type, 500 attack, 300 defense. If it's flipped face up, shuffle this card face up into your opponent's deck. If you draw this card after it was added to your deck by its effect, special summon defense position, if you do, take 1000 damage. so also a downside. Now the 1000 damages go to your opponent, I think. All monsters controlled by the player that someone discarded by its effect become insect monsters. So of course we can combine this card with insect barrier, which Weevil Underwood I think had in the also in the Orichalcus arc. Yes, and so working good together with that one. Then I have Drillbug. Earth attribute, 2 stars, and insect type, 1100 attack and 200 defense. I think this card didn't exist in the TCG at all, but it works perfectly with our good friend Parasite, and its effect works like that. With this card, puts battle damage to your opponent. You can choose one Parasite from your deck, shuffle your deck, and put Parasite on face up onto your deck. Yeah. Then I have a card which is Legul. Also played it out in Battle City, but in the Orichalcus he had at least 2, so I thought, okay, I made 2. But I might be wrong because he had then 2, but due to the effect of the spell card, which was called, I think, Mimesis maybe. So still, I did put 2 copies from this card in here. It's an Earth attribute, 1 stars, insect type, of course, 300 attack and 350 defense, but it has the very cool ability that it can attack your opponent's life points directly. So there we go. Could be a little bit tricky if you have it 2 times. And maybe increase its attack points. Then we do have Pinch Hopper. An Earth attribute, 4 stars, insect type, 1000 attack, 1200 defense. And its effect works like that. In this card you control center your graveyard. You can special summon 1 insect monster from your hand. So also it can be strong monsters. I think he had this one in the Battle City arc and then played out Insect Queen, but I don't know about the Orichalcus arc. I do not remember anymore. Talking about the Battle City arc, Insect Soldiers of the Sky, 3 stars, insect type, 1000 attack, 800 defense. The attack of this card increases by 1000 points whenever it attacks a wind monster. So yeah, if your opponent has one or other wind monster, then it works very well. Then I have Primitive Butterfly, one of the additions that I made for monster cards that Weevil had, but they were just enemy exclusive cards. So also wind attribute, and having 1000 insect type, of course, 1200 attack. So also working with the Flying Kamakiri #1's effect, and you can special summon it from the deck. Its effect works like that. If you control no monsters, you can special summon this card from your hand, and once per turn you can increase the level of all the insect type monsters that you control by 1. But because this card also has 5 stars with 1200 attack only, so if it's a good trump card if you do not have any other monsters on the field, you can special summon it. Then its downside will be eliminated. Then Gruesome Moth, also wind type, but with 6 stars, 1800 attack and 2300 defense, so not that bad of a defense posture. Of course, it's insect type. Every player can just once per turn special summon monsters, so very good stalling effect against the opponent with a strong face-up attack position board, maybe. Then, of course, Insect Queen, which also was played out in the Orichalcus arc. Now here in Ultra Rare, in the Dark Beginning 2. Unfortunately, from the recent, it didn't come out an Ultra Rare in the recently reprinted set Retro Pack 2. I wished for that because in super rare I think it's a little bit lame, but yet still, my opinion. 7 stars, of course. Earth attribute, insect type, 2,200 attack and 2,400 defense. I think this is the favorite monster of Weevil Underwood. Of course, its effect works like that. You cannot declare a attack without triggering a monster from your side of the field. Then you can increase the attack of this card by 200 for every insect type monster on the field. Of course, if you have the effect of Parasite and the opponent's monsters also become insect monsters, this card will grow in terms of its attack stats unusually strong. Then of course you can special summon one insect token type insect, earth attribute 1 level 1, attack 100, defense 100 as a special summon and face up attack position onto your side of the field at the end of the turn, in which this card destroyed another monster. Then we do have a Great Moth in here, which I think played out, but I might be wrong. 8 stars, Earth attribute, insect type, 2,400, 600 attack, 2,500 defense. This monster cannot be known or set. This can only be special by triggering Petite Moth on the 4th of your turns after Petite Moth has been equipped with Cocoon of Evolution. Like I said, you just imagine having Petite Moth in here. Like I said, I didn't find it. Or I did find it and I forgot to put it in the deck. But yeah, here we go. Then we do have the perfect alternative Great Moth. Earth attribute, also 8 stars. Insect type, 3,500 attack, 3,000 defense. Cannot be normal summoned or set. Must be special summoned from your hand by attributing 1 Petite Moth onto your 6th turn after it's been equipped with Cocoon of Evolution. So this card is unusually difficult to summon. 3,500 attack and 3,000 defense. It is by far the most powerful monster in the deck, but how you want to let that happen with Petite Moth and Cocoon of Evolution? Even if Petite Moth has 2,000 defense, you have to have strong possibilities to protect it. Maybe things like Solomon Judgment or Magic Jump, which I didn't put in this deck, but just my recommendation. If you want to play a deck like this, you have to put maybe 2 other Cocoon of Evolutions in here, and of course maybe 2 other Petite Moths in order to make it give a better playability. But I didn't do these things because, and already in the Battle City arc I did put 3 Cocoon of Evolution and I think even 3 Petite Moths in there in the very deck that I'm talking about. And so I'll let it out in here. So guys, this is the monster lineup. Let's get it to the spells. I give you 5 seconds to maybe make a photo of the very lineup that you have right before your eyes. Okay, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Maybe to rebuild it and make some additions. Weevil Underwood is always, his decks are always very tricky. Even Solomon Muto called it, I think, in the Battle City arc, that insect monster cards or insect decks in general are very tricky decks, so not that easy to build. So first off, of course, I gave him a Pot of Greed in order to draw 2 monster cards, which I think we didn't see, but yet still, it's a good staple. Then I gave him a double Cyclone because we're lacking very much spell cards. Most of them, or some of them at least, are anime exclusive, so I made some additions. This one is a equipped spell card which has the ability to you can choose 1 spell trap card that you control and one spell trap your opponent controls and destroy both. And then I have Verdant Sanctuary, a permanent spell card, which is the ability to, if a face-up insect monster is destroyed by battle or card effect, and send a graveyard, its controller can add 1 insect monster with the same level as the destroyed monster from your deck to your hand. So very good recycle effect, or not recycle, but like exchange effect, so that you have still reserves that you can go for. Then of course Insect Barrier, a permanent spell card which prohibits any insect monsters or your opponent controls cannot declare an attack. It's just like light sword, you might say, but with insects and without the downside that it's destroyed after 3 turns. Eradicating Aerosol card which he played out against Joey Wheeler in the Battle City arc. Destroy all insect monsters on the field. Also working very well. It's a little bit like the dark hole of this deck, you might say, just with insect type monsters. Yeah. Then Insect Imitation, a card which of course didn't exist in the anime. It works like that. Offer 1 monster as a tribute. Summon 1 insect monster as a special summon from your deck. That level is 1 point higher than the attributed monster. Yeah, there we go. So we can of course combine this one with others. Warm Bait, another addition that I made. There are cards like I think Infestation and Mimesis. Those cards do not exist in TCG, so we have to have cards like that. It works like this. If you have an insect monster that you control, or you control an insect monster, you can special summon 2 worm tokens with the type insect, attribute earth, level 1, attack 0, defense 0. And in the very turn that you played out this effect, you cannot it cannot summon any level 3 or level 4 monsters as a normal or special summon. So a little downside that it has. A little bit like Stray Lambs, just for with insects. Once reborn, you just don't ask me what this card does, you know it yourself. Special summon, of course, a monster from your or your opponent's graveyard in face up attack or face down, face up defense position. Jade Insect Whistle, another card which does not exist in the TCG, in the anime. Your opponent selects 1 insect type monster from his/her deck. After shuffling the deck, place it the card on the top of the deck. Of course, this card works perfectly with Parasite in order to bring it on the top of the deck. Multiplication of Ants, a card which she played out in the Battle City arc. Tribute 1 insect monster, special 1, 2 army ant tokens, insect type earth, attribute level 4, attack 500 attack and 1200 defense. These tokens cannot be tributed for a tribute summon, but for example, you can offer them as a tribute for insect in order for insect a queen to attack. Laser Cannon, an equip spell card which can of course just being equipped to an insect type and increasing its attack and defense stats by 300 points. Forest, I think you might say that we had this card in the Duelist Kingdom arc. Of course, a field spell card. All insect, beast, plant, and beast warrior type monsters on the field get 200 attack and 200 defense. Then we have, of course, our Seal of Orichalcos from the OCG. Yeah, I do not explain, and neither have I to explain anything because you do also already know this card. So this is my spell lineup. Very straightforward, very insect based, you might say. You just copy those. Oh yeah, make a picture if you want. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now I'm removing them away from the spell cards into the trap cards. So we do not have any fusion decks, so I wanted to spoil that first. I put first in here a butterfly yoke. Working with insects, trap card. We did have some trap cards which are also anime exclusive, so I made some other assumptions or adoptions. When an opponent's monster declares an attack target, the attacker must change that target to defense position. If you do equip this card to that monster, you must return during either player's main phase or battle phase. You can change the equipped monster to battle position. Very good. If it's maybe a strong monster, or maybe a weak one that you can then put into face-up attack position, and then maybe attack. Then we have cloning in here. I put it in here because there was my Mises, which was working, Cell Division I think called, sorry. And you had a very similar effect. You could clone a monster on the field, I think. Activate when you open moments or flip summons a monster, especially when one clone token that has the same original type, attribute, attack, and defense as the same summon monster. When the monster is destroyed, instead to the graveyard, destroy this token. Of course, this is a typical Shadow Kaiba card, but still. DNA Surgery, one of the essentials, the essential trap card on this deck. Activate this card by declaring one monster type or face-up monsters on the field become that type. Of course, we do not have to have Parasite's effect, but we can play out DNA Surgery and then turn all the monsters on the field into insect types, and then put our insect barrier onto the field, and then your opponent it's impossible for your opponent to attack. I have two in here because they are of course permanent, but if it's maybe one destroyed, we have another one. You might now criticize me why there's no second or third insect barrier in here. Feel free to add them, but I didn't want to do it. But yeah, it's I think the more logical conclusion. So this is it, my guys. This is my I think 40 card Weevil deck profile. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Hit the like and the subscribe button. Show me some love, guys. We're going up to ranks. We want to conclude the Okakos arc in a few weeks, but I want to be even faster than that because I'm very eager to end it, though it is my favorite arc. And yeah, of course my pack challenges have to begin as well. I already spoiled it for you guys, but the editing or contribution board on my website, on my channel. And lastly, there's no thing to say. I will be having a futuristic Weevil Underwood deck for GX timeline sometime, and then maybe even a turbo deck profile. But I think that this is then about it, because Weevil Underwood, maybe I will be building just in the insect type monster, another one just for myself. So there will be maybe 3, but there's nothing, not much more to do, because insect types are very rare and very special, and also the spore cards that's supporting them. Yeah, and as always, I hope you guys have a good morning, a good evening, good midday, good afternoon, whenever and wherever you might witness this one. This is me, your Slifer Maniac, and a big peace.